units shot into moving cars, at bicyclists, at buses filled with innocent civilians returning from work, using armor-piercing bullets which passed completely through victims and both sides of the vehicles. The government of China had declared war on its own unarmed citizens, and the democracy movement would be crushed by terrifying, merciless force. That night, government loudspeakers began warning of dire consequences to all those who refused to obey martial law. Most of the city's 10 million people were sufficiently frightened that they returned to their homes, where many were then killed when PLA troops began firing at their apartments and homes. Slowly, troops and tanks made their way towards Tiananmen Square, battling and killing students and citizens every step of the way. Many were so shocked and outraged that the People's Liberation Army would attack the city and ordinary citizens and students that hundreds of thousands poured again into the streets, creating human walls to prevent the passage of troops and to protect the students. Tanks chased down crowds of people and ran over them, turning them into pulp. PLA troops and tanks shot at unarmed civilians, at people on bicycles, and at men and women even as they ran away. Often troops fired in the air, then they turned their guns on the people, the first two rows of soldiers kneeling down and then firing. Each time shots rang out, citizens would drop to the ground, many gravely wounded. However, during the lull between firing, the citizens would stand up and approach the soldiers, yelling insults, only to be shot down. Troops fired at students, at civilians, at people standing on their balconies or at their windows, and people were killed in their kitchens while watching TV or lying in their beds. Troops shot indiscriminately into crowds of unarmed civilians, including women and children, and those riding bicycles or on their way home in the city buses. Foreign journalists reported seeing fleeing protesters shot in the back. Thousands would be killed. Over 60,000 would be maimed or wounded. PLA troops even shot at ambulances, killing the driver. Bodies of unarmed civilians littered the streets.